Okay, today is October 9th. Um, we have less than 90 days left in the year, 3 months. Um, so I just want to preface this whole call by saying that this is the time of year when we, like the effort that we put into sharing our story, sharing any transformation that we've had, sharing what we're going through, um, sharing anything about this business, this is when people are watching, because in January and the end of December, when they start thinking about their health after the holidays and they're like, oh my goodness, all of this weight that I've gained over the holidays, my yoga pants don't even fit anymore and I don't know what to do with myself. You want you to be the first person that they think of when they think about who they're going to turn to at the beginning of the year to start on their health journey. Last year there was a really big push and it worked really well. So like this is like what you can start telling people that you start talking to about the business is you say, listen, let me bring you in now. I'm going to get you trained. And this applies to everybody, like us included, like retraining ourselves, learning more about the business. We train new people that we bring in. We help them reach out to new people. And we tell them that January is probably the best time of year for this business because everybody thinks about health and fitness. Like you guys have seen gym parking lots in December, and then you see gym parking lots the first week of January. And it's like night and day. They are packed in January. Everybody starts their New Year's resolution at the beginning of January to improve their health, to lose weight. I think I read a statistic like 85% of people who make New Year's resolutions include weight loss as part of their New Year's resolution. So when we are talking to people about the business and wanting to grow our business and bring new people in to help, to work the business and to help other people, this is a really important key point, which is we need to explain to them that, listen, I can get you trained now. My team has trainings now. We're going to do all of your training now. We're going to get you, in the forefront of people's mind. You're just going to be sharing your journey on social media. And then come January, people are going to see you and they're going to think of you and they're going to say, I want to sign up with that person because she's consistent. She's been sharing her journey. She's been getting results while everybody else has been out, drinking eggnog and eating all of the pumpkin pie. And, they see you on your journey being consistent, which is why this time of year is even more important for us as coaches to be consistent on our own journey. Again, which is why these challenge groups are so important. Be sure, you're posting in the challenge group. Be sure you're sticking to a program. If you haven't picked a program, let's get you a program. Make sure you're drinking your Shakeology. Make sure you're sharing about it. Make sure you're, sharing how it fits into your life. And then you share that with the people that you bring in, and then you help them duplicate that. And that's how we grow this business. And that's how you rank advance and you get to Emerald and you get to Diamond and you get beyond that and you blow up your business. So I just want to preface this whole call by, I want you to keep that in the forefront of your mind now until December 31st. This is a time of year when we're laying the groundwork for the people that are going to be ready come the beginning of January. Good? Questions? Okay. So tonight, the beginning of this year, I was really striving to find a way to simplify my business. And Amber and I talked at length about this, like all through the beginning of the year, like what can we do? What can we do? What are the like few things that we can do that don't overwhelm us, that, make sure that we're doing the important things and not doing the unimportant things. So I've been listening to a couple of books that are really, really helpful for that. One of them is called The 4-Hour Work Week. It's by Tim Ferriss. And the other one is called 6 Months to Six Figures. And the author is Peter Voogd, Voogd. Actually, I heard that one from Haley Christian, who, by the way, is like my personal superhero. Like I want to be just like her. But she really recommended that book, the 6 months to six figures. And so I got it on Audible, and I've listened to it. It's short. It's probably, I want to say it's less than a 3 hour book. And I've listened to it, I want to say 3 or 4 times now, start to finish. And so they both talk about like basically doing things in your business that give you the most return for the time that you spend and allow you to spend as little time as possible. So there's actually something, and this is kind of interesting because I work for my husband's business, and I'm a quality coordinator. And there's something in quality called the Pareto principle, which basically means that 80% of your, like in quality, 80% of your issues are going to come from, or 80% of the problems that you experience are going to come from 20% of the actual things that are going wrong. So like you might have one or two things in your business that are causing 80% of your problems. And it's interesting because both of these books talk about the Pareto principle, or they call it the 80-20 rule, being that 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your actions. And you can actually break it down even further and take like the top 80% of those actions come from the top 20% of the individual action items that you're doing. 80%, the top 80% of the results come from the top 20% of the actions that you're doing. And so really it breaks down to like 96% of your results come from 4% of your actions. If you really break it down, and it's a universal law. Basically, it applies to everything from manufacturing to sales, to pretty much everything that you could imagine. And what we need to do in our businesses, as we run our own businesses, we are business owners, we need to figure out what that top 20% of activities we do daily that's going to bring us 80% of the results that we want. Ideally in the least amount of time possible, because, we are all extremely busy. We all have a ton going on. We all have life. We all have, things that take us away from doing this, 8 solid hours a day, 5 days a week. So the less time we can spend doing the actions that are going to be the most productive, that's our goal. So, when we figure out what that is, the next step is we have to do those things. It's really great to think, spend a lot of time like thinking and planning and getting ready and writing lists, and, making charts and making, comparisons and doing pros and cons. That's not going to advance our business in any way. The thing that's going to advance our business is us getting out there and doing the things. So I have done this for you. You don't have to think about what this is. The one thing in this business that is going to get us the biggest bang for our buck is the thing that scares everybody the most, and that is inviting. It's connecting with people, and it's inviting. So really what I want to spend the majority of this call on is talking about how we do that, how we effectively connect with people, and how to turn that into an invitation, and how to follow up with people. Because the more time we spend in our inbox, like I've found that there are weeks when I spend hardly any time even on Facebook anymore. I spend most of my time in Facebook Messenger. I go to Facebook because, you check on people's pages and make sure like their, dog hasn't died before you message them. And you add new friends and you check in with your challenge group. But I don't go to my news feed hardly at all, because I'm really deliberate with who I'm interacting with. Because if you start scrolling your news feed, like you get stuck in puppy videos. We all know this. So what I want to do on this call is just outline, and I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's really important to do again, is I want to outline for you kind of a condensed version of how I grow my network, how I interact with those people, and how I turn it into an invitation. And what invitations even mean. Like, I think that there's sometimes it's a little bit confusing. Like, what does an invite mean? Like, an invite doesn't have to be scary. It can be the simplest thing. And so I'll kind of talk about like what an invitation means in this business to me. And it might mean something different to other people. But I've done it so much now that I don't have a fear about doing it anymore. It's just part of what I do every day. And it feels very natural. So I was going to share my screen, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I can just talk about it because I think that would be a little bit, it'll muck it up a little bit. It'll just make it more complicated. So, okay, the first thing, there's a couple of things. The first thing is you always need to be growing your network, because there are people. So like if you're a brand new coach, you have your social media is made up of people who you actually probably know in real life. And those people already know you, and they already, trust you as a person, and they already like you, or they wouldn't be friends with you on social media, or they're just, watching you to see what you're doing because they're weird. So those people, if you're a brand new coach, you have kind of a leg up on the rest of us, because you don't have to go through the like relationship building that goes into what you do when you start making friends, like from groups and other areas on Facebook or social media that you don't know somebody in person. So the first thing you need to do is have people constantly coming in and seeing your posts new for the first time. And so that only happens when you add people on social media. I did a video, I did a team call. Actually, I did one in Melissa's page a while ago about like where I add people from. And I also did a team call on where I add people from. So I'm not really going to go into that in much depth or detail right now. If you have questions, message in the group, or ask me and I'll tag you in that video. But constantly be growing your network. And when I say growing your network, what does that mean? I send out a friend request on Facebook to probably anywhere from 10 to 20 people a day. And I usually find it depends on the day of the week. Like if I do this on the weekend, usually I got a lot more people responding. But in the middle of the week, I usually get like anywhere from like 3 to 8 people, new friends every day on Facebook from those messages, or from the invitations, or I don't know what you call them, from the friend requests that I send out. And then what I do is I immediately go to their page sometime either that day or the next day, like really quickly, soon thereafter, and I comment on one of their posts. And what that does is it bumps my newsfeed up, or it bumps the posts that I make up in their newsfeed. And so they start to see my posts because I've interacted with them and I've commented. It's not just a like or a reaction. It's actually, doing a comment on their post. That's something that's meaningful. It's not just like, oh, super cute. Like, start building a connection. This is like your first impression. This is how you first start building your connections and, making a first impression on people. So first thing I do is I go and comment, and then I send them a message, and I have a script that I store in my phone in my notes, and I edit it for each person a little bit. But the main thing is, hey, we have a lot of friends in common, which is like my deal now. I add friends of friends. I say, hey, we have a lot of friends in common. Maybe we're in a group together. And then I will say something, about, their kids or their page or their dog or something that I saw while I was on their page. And then they'll either write me back or they won't. Then you move on. So if they write me back and I start a conversation, we talk a little bit, and I try and like dive in to, like, I try and create a relationship, pretty quickly. Like I've started saying things like, so I add a lot of moms of toddlers, and I'll say something like, I'll say like my son is, just turned 3 or whatever. And they'll tell me how old their kids are. And, if they're around my kid's age, I'll ask about something like potty training, because my son is not potty training. So I'm like, what are you doing for potty training? Or I'll ask their advice on something, or I'll just say something like, how are you liking this age? And then I'll, talk about like some goofy or ridiculous or, crazy thing that my kid has been doing. So like create a connection with people. then they'll start to, see that you're a real person and they'll start to trust you. And then, depending on how much I've gone back and forth with them, within the next couple of days, I will send them out a message that says, hey, I don't know if you're interested, but I am starting a 21-day fitness challenge on Facebook next month. I'd love to have you join me. I just thought of you since we've been chatting. That's the invitation that I send out. And the reason, there's a reason for each part of that invitation. So the first part is, hey, I don't know if you're interested, because I don't. Like, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't want to presume anything. And then I explain 21-day fitness challenge on Facebook. But actually, it's funny because before I started saying that, people are like, well, I don't live anywhere near you. And I'm like, oh, well, it's online. Don't worry. And then the next part is, forget what I'm saying. I was wondering if you wanted to join me. So that is like an invitation to, I want you to do what I'm doing with me. I think it would be fun to have, other people do it with me. So it's not like I'm teaching you to do this. It's like I'm doing this and I'd love to have you come and do it with me. And then the last part is really important. I say, I was just thinking of you. But that sounds weird if I don't say, because we were just chatting. So there's the parts to it. So the first part is, hey, I don't know if you're interested. I'm doing this 21-day fitness challenge on Facebook. I'd love to have you join me. I was just thinking of you because we've been chatting. Sometimes I will add an extra part at the end, and I say, if not, no worries, something like that. Sometimes people will say no just because because they feel pressured just by what you're saying, and that's on them. That's not on us. But if you give them a way out and you say, if you don't want to, that's totally fine. I understand. A lot of times people don't look for a way to get out of the conversation. So those are the components of the invitation that I do. And I basically have a format of that in like a script in my phone, in my notes. And I copy and paste that to a couple of people every day based on conversations that we've had. And the way that I write it out is really flexible for every single person. And if it needs to be tweaked, great. But if not, that's even better. I know there are people who are kind of anti-script, but I have found that it works really well for me when I write the script. If you use somebody else's script, it's not going to work for you because it's not going to be in your voice. But when you write your own scripts based on the reactions that you've had to different messages that you've sent out to people, and you refine your own work, that's going to sound like you, no matter if it's a script or not, no matter if you cut and paste or not. And so I literally have a bazillion little scripts that I keep in a note in my phone, and it's just called scripts. And I have like a first message to, for an old group that I, used to add people to, and I don't use that anymore because like nobody's in that group anymore that I'm connecting with. It's like all snowballed out from there. I have invitations depending on if it's like next Monday or if it's next month, because sometimes I don't want to take the time to rewrite that. If I ask people what they do and they ask me what I do, I have a script that says, what I do as a health coach. I have a link to Tony's, so Tony and I did like a business opportunity video maybe 2 months ago, and I have a link to that I can just copy and paste to people. I have an explanation of what Tony's group is. I have an explanation of what they should expect once they get in. I have an explanation of, I'm going to get you a free 14-day trial of Beachbody on Demand. I have, I have like a ton of stuff for just like following up about the group, about the coaching opportunity. I have my favorite Shakeology recipe because I hate typing it out. And if I send somebody a sample, I also send this to them in a message. I have a I mean, I have a bazillion things. I also have like all of the coach change information. I have the link to the Beachbody customer coach change form and the information that they're going to need from me. I have my Facebook profile for Instagram when I'm talking to people on Instagram in Messenger, and I can just like copy and paste and say, hey, are you on Facebook? Find me on Facebook. Here's my link. I have, what else? A bunch of stuff like the flash sales coming up. So I have some stuff about the flash sales, some stuff about the 3-day refresh. My list is ridiculously long. So scripts, I write out my own scripts. I store them in my phone and I can copy and paste them to people that I'm talking to, and it saves me time. And like I said, this is our goal here, is to spend the least amount of time doing the things that are going to get us the biggest return on the time that we spend, so that we can go do other things in our life and enjoy our life and still do well in this business. So I want to talk about the different things that to me make up an invitation. Like what can we invite to? For me, and it took me a while to kind of realize what an invitation encompasses. Like people are like, invite to a challenge group, invite to a paid challenge group. So like there are all kinds of different challenge groups. Obviously there's the free ones that we do. There you could do, or you could be a part of, or you could require that when you do the challenge group, you could require that people have to have a challenge pack to join on your team. There are coaches that do that. That's an invitation to a free group, an invitation to try the Shakeology sampler, an invitation to try 14 days of Beachbody on Demand for free. Basically, an invitation is connecting somebody with something that's going to help them. That to me is an invitation. Whether it's a free group, whether it's a free trial of Beachbody on Demand, whether it's a Shakeology sampler pack, whether it's a challenge group, whether it's, hey, can I send you a sample of Shakeology, whether it's the coaching opportunity, whether it's a sneak peek for the 3-day refresh, or a sneak peek for the coaching opportunity, or send them a video of the video that Tony and I recorded, that's an invitation. Anything where you are connecting somebody with something that they could benefit from is an invitation. And so that kind of I feel like that kind of takes the scariness out of it, because a lot of times, we think when we're inviting people and we get scared about it, it's because we don't want to ask somebody to pay us money to do something. And when you have all of these options, you don't have to start there right out of the gate. You can get your feet wet and you can become comfortable saying, I have something free for you here. And that's not scary. That's being genuine and being generous with the resources that you have. That's saying, hey, I have something for you that is going to help you with X, Y, or Z thing that you've told me about, and I'm going to give it to you for free. And that's adding value. And so it's really great because we can invite people and we can also add value to their lives, and we don't have to feel, slimy about it because we're giving them something for free. And then as your relationship with them develops and deepens, and you can say, listen, you were telling me that you're tired all the time, or, you were telling me that you don't have any time to make breakfast, so you end up skipping breakfast. Shakeology has really helped me. There is a sampler pack that you can try, and you can try it for 7 days and see how you like it. That's an invitation. All of these things. So this weekend was Garrett's birthday party. I didn't do anything on Saturday as far as business. And so his nap time on Sunday, I spent all 3 hours following up with people and sending out invitations. And that was like I feel like my time was extremely well spent this weekend, even though I only spent a couple of hours, and like last week was like a zoo. I didn't get very much done at all. And so I spent that focused time doing the invitation, connecting, following up that I needed to do. And I got everybody ready for the group. And I have 5 new customers. I've got 2 new people with Shakeology sampler packs, almost another 3 actually who have to follow up, or another 1 who I have to follow up. And then I've got like 3 or 4 new people with Beachbody On Demand trials. I have somebody who decided that they really liked it. And so I got them set up with the full year of Beachbody On Demand instead of just the 3 months. So it's just, spend your time connecting with people and spend your time making new friends and growing those relationships and seeing how you can help them. And that's where your time is best spent. Questions? Who has a question? Questions about what an invitation is. Questions about how many people we should be talking to. Questions about what to invite to, what you can invite to right now. Does everybody know what we can invite to right now?
That's my question. Is who we can invite to.
Good. Okay. So you can invite to Tony's group right now. Every Sunday we can add people in. So I'll approve everybody who is pending this week. I'll approve everybody on Sunday. You can add people to Tony's group as, that's a free group. Also, this coming end of the month, so October 30th and 31st through November 1st, Melissa's team is doing another flash sale. I know, Jennifer, that was something that you like got in with that, and so you're familiar with what that is. You can start talking to people about that. That's an invitation too. You can say, listen, I know money's tight for you. We're doing a sale at the end of the month. Let me get you in this group. Make your list, make sure you're tracking everybody, keeping up with everybody. And then you can start talking to them about like what would best suit their needs. And then once the group is open, you get them in there, and then the energy in the group is going to kind of carry everybody. Same thing like with the challenge group, where everybody's posting, everybody's commenting, and like the energy just carries everybody. So it takes that pressure off of you to be like, here is everything. And you say here, and then you just kind of like, do not sit back, but you let the other coaches on the team help your person as well. 3-day refresh groups. Melissa has she has a 3-day refresh. I'll add you to it if you have anybody who's interested in 3-day refresh. It's like a sneak peek for the 3-day refresh. And then there's also a 3-day refresh group where we have gone through. So like there are posts for day 1, day 2, day 3, like 1, 2, 3 posts a day, like day 1 post 1, day 2 post 3. And everybody, follows along with what's there. So if you have somebody, you can be talking to people about a 3-day refresh, and you can say, I have this great group. I will put you in this as soon as you purchase, blah, 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 blah. You can also be inviting to, those are the main things right now. The one thing I will encourage you to do is don't forget about the business opportunity. Like, even if you're not comfortable with it, like that's probably the scariest thing to invite people to, because we have kind of preconceived notions about what other people are going to think about what we do. And none of those are real, first of all, because we have no idea what other people think that we're going to do. This might be the perfect thing for them. We have no idea. We should always be offering people this opportunity to help other people. And I would encourage you, especially if you're new, because I wish that I'd done this earlier. I wish that I had reached out to more people sooner about the business, is invite people to join you in helping other people. And especially like I was talking about at the beginning of the call, like the beginning of January is when, if you put the work in right now, if you really share your journey, if you really reach out to people, if you really start building relationships, that's when people have amazing success at the beginning of the year. Tony is a great example of that. He came in October 8 years ago, and he worked his butt off with basically no return on anything for the first 3 months. I think he said he made like hardly anything. He like barely covered his shakes the first 3 months. And then in January, he ended up like number 6 in the company in sales, just because he had worked his butt off the first 3 months that he was in the business, nonstop, talking to everybody, growing his business, inviting every single person he could possibly think of, and it paid off. And that's how this business works. You don't see a return immediately. It's Christy, who's my coach. She says it's a crock pot business, not a popcorn business. You're not going to turn on the microwave and get a business in 30 seconds. It sits in the crock pot for 8 hours on low. But you have to do the work beforehand and put everything in the pot and season it up right and continue to check on it sometimes. And it takes time to develop. So do the work now. So one thing I want to talk about, we've got about 7 minutes. I want to talk about goals. And I want to tell you, like, we all have our own goals, but I want to tell you a few things about what some of your goals should be if you really want to go far in this business. You need to have a goal of definitely hitting Success Club every single month. That should be non-negotiable. But depending on how big your goals are, you need to have goals of Success Club 10 or higher every month starting now. I know that sounds overwhelming, especially if it's been a while since you've hit Success Club, or if you've never hit Success Club, or, but the reality is that if you want to replace your current income with what you make through Beachbody, you're not going to do that helping 3 people a month. You may not even do that helping 5 people a month. I mean, your goals need to be Success Club 10 to 20. So helping 5 to 10 people a month, bringing on 2 to 5 new people who want to work the business every month, who are so excited and who want to jump in head first. Because again, it's like that 80-20 rule. Like, you bring in 10 people, 2 people may only stick around for the first month and realize that really maybe they want to do this. And so, and then multiply that times however much. And, how many people do you need to even get to Diamond? You need 4 coaches on each side, and you need to have 2 working coaches, 1 on each side. And so if you're only bringing on 3 people, 3 people a month, it's going to take a long time for you to get there. And yes, you need to have like the long-term game plan, and you need to be okay with, slow growth, but you need to be pushing like you're trying to get there tomorrow. Understanding that it will take time, and all of the hard work that you put in, like, sometimes everything will fall apart, and that's okay. That's what happens in this business. But you need to plan and set your goals like tomorrow you're going to get fired and you need to have something to fall back on. I mean, if you really truly want to do this, you really, really, truly have to have those big goals for yourself in mind. And that means reaching out to all the people. When I first started, I heard something like it takes 10 invitations or 10 conversations about Shakeology to make 1 Shakeology sale. And I believe that's true when you're in your like pretty warm market, when you're a brand new coach. And then as you get, into more of like a cold market and you're inviting more people that you don't know, that number goes up. So it could be, 15 conversations about Shakeology gets you 1 sale. So think about all the people that you need to talk to help, 5 to 10 people a month. I mean, we are literally talking 100 or more people, talking to them about Shakeology every single month in order to make your monthly goals. So I'm not saying this to discourage you. I'm saying this to let you know that you can do this, because people do this every day. Every single coach who's in this business has started where you are, but the ones who are successful, they do put in a lot of work as far as how many people they talk to. They talk to a ton of people. They talk to, they're not afraid. Okay, let me rephrase. They are afraid, but they don't let that fear stop them from talking to people and offering this opportunity to people. Amber and I have been listening to Brooke Castillo, the Life Coach podcast. And I was listening to the episode on fear today. And or maybe it was, I forget what it was. I don't know if it was fear or not. But the quote, and actually I posted this on my Facebook page. It says, confidence is being willing to fail in front of other people. And that's what we do. That's what I do every single day. I have to be unafraid to make a post that, maybe somebody's going to take offense to. Maybe somebody's going to say, whatever they're going to say. Maybe somebody's going to think that I'm being salesy. Maybe, people are going to think whatever they're going to think. And it doesn't matter what I do. I will probably offend somebody sometime. And we have to be okay with that. We have to be willing to fail in front of other people. And the more people that you interact with, the more exposure you're going to have, and the more people may or may not think that have an opinion about you. Everybody has an opinion, but really it just depends, how their opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion of yourself is the only thing that matters. And if you're putting in the effort that you feel like you need to put in to make this business work for you, then you can be proud of that. So that's all I got. We have less than a minute. Anything to add? Questions in the next 4 seconds? Okay. Thank you guys so much for getting on. This will be posted, but I'll type into the comments, or I'll type into the chat how to get to it, because I'm not going to post them in the chat anymore, but I'll tell you how to get there. So thank you guys for jumping on, and see you all in the challenge group. Bye.